Hey, what's going on? Josh French, Director of Cokesbury Students, and this is Asking for a Friend, the YouTube edition. You submitted so many questions, we couldn't get to them all in the room, so here they are. And my friends and yours are here to answer your much anticipated and highly asked questions. Like Manna, Purushotham, Joshua, Stuckey, Anna Lee, they're all here just for you. Now look, some of these videos are a little bit longer than your attention span might be, so the questions are in the description. Fast forward to the ones that you're interested in. Hey, we're glad you're here. Thanks for asking, and we'll see you soon.
Hey, I'm Manna, and we are back with Asking for a Friend, and this is our middle school edition. So these are questions from our 7th and 8th graders, and we are going to start with this one to Joshua.
All right.
All right, you ready? All right. How do you know when you are praying too much or asking for too much?
See, I don't think there's really ever a time that you're praying too much, because God loves us and loves you so much, wants to be in a relationship with us, that he loves when we talk to him. So I don't think there's ever really a time that you're praying for too much.
Yeah.
And as far as the asking too much, I would venture to say most of the time we're never really asking for too much, because we will see what God's answer is when he answers the prayer.
Yeah. I think we have to be careful to know that he will answer if there are so many, he will answer the ones he's supposed to answer, or that he feels will be good for us.
Yes.
For him to answer.
Yes.
So, yep. So in that same context, especially when it comes to answering prayers, because that's sometimes how we justify this next question of, does God love me?
Absolutely, unequivocally, yes. There is nothing in this world that could stop God from loving you. That's like the basis of what we believe. It's why he sent Jesus. It's why we are here today. He sent Jesus so we could be in a relationship with him. There's nothing that you can do that will make God not love you. So kind of going with that idea of love, but transferring it more to us. How do I love myself before loving others? I don't love myself fully, but I love my friends. Is that just an act? Will I really love them more if I love myself first?
So I think that's a really good question. And it initially takes me to kind of the golden rule. Love others as you would love yourself.
Okay.
But it doesn't say you have to love others before you love yourself, or you have to love yourself before you love others. I think it's sort of a trajectory of, as you love yourself more, yes, you will be able to love other people more.
Absolutely.
But it also says love God and love others. So I think if you're in love with God and you love God and you're living your life in that way, then that is what's going to ultimately lead you to learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
And the more you love yourself, the more you can love your friends. But it doesn't mean that you can't love your friends. You know, I just think it's sort of, they kind of build together.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
the more you learn to love, period, the more love you're going to be able to give.
Absolutely.
So
I would agree with that. Absolutely. So this next question here kind of goes with identity, and I say we could kind of lump that in with loving ourselves and stuff. Why do people choose or like to be different?
So I find that to be a very interesting question, in that there are some people who absolutely love to be different. They love to stand out in a crowd. They choose to put themselves out there as someone who is different or super unique, and they can do that in how they dress or in how they talk or in what they like to do. But ironically, especially in middle school, 56 middle school, and probably even high school is fair, a lot of people think that they have to be the same as other people. And they're constantly comparing themselves to other people. And I think that's, I think it's healthy to try and be different.
Absolutely.
Because you just need to be yourself.
Absolutely.
Whether that is similar to other people or completely different than other people. Because it would be so boring if we were all the same.
Yes, absolutely.
It would be completely boring, and the world would just be
we want to celebrate those differences.
If there were all Mannas in the world, it would be way boring.
And if there were all Joshuas in the world, it would be total chaos and very, very loud.
Very loud, a lot of the time.
But I also think, too, we want to celebrate those differences because we want to celebrate the fact that God gave each and every single person unique and specific gifts. And I call them little quirks about their personality, a style, everything like that. And we want to celebrate that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the group of people you hang around with, the more diverse they are, you know, I think the better it can be as a group. I mean, take me, you, and Josh. We're totally different human beings.
Yeah.
But we work as a team. So I think, you know, surround yourself with people who are both similar to you, but also very different, because it brings out different parts of you.
Yeah.
You know, and that helps make us all whole.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
So, okay. I chose this one, and we both kind of chose this one because it hits home for both of us. Why did God make me have to take medicine?
Ooh.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, medicine was very, especially, okay, let's talk about if you're taking medicine for some sort of mental health issue. Let's start there.
Yeah.
If you're taking medicine for a mental health, whether that's ADHD, depression, anxiety, or whatever the case may be, I really hope that you can recognize that that is not to be embarrassing, because we all need help. And I don't believe that God would have put people on this earth to discover things that would help us function better as individuals if he didn't intend for us to do that.
Yeah.
So obviously, when you're taking medicine because a doctor has prescribed it to help you with whatever the issue may be, I don't think that there is anything to be embarrassed about.
Absolutely.
You know? I mean, there are plenty of people who have to take medicine for physical ailments and just don't have a choice in that. And so obviously, please take those. But the mental health stuff in particular, which, you know, I'm kind of assuming that that's what this has to do with.
That's what I assume.
You know, it's there for a reason. And if it helps you function day to day, it helps you get along with other people, then absolutely, because I will say I'm on medication for, you know, multiple things that I've had to deal with, and it helps me to be a much more level-headed, able to communicate better kind of person. And so I won't speak for you, but
I think it's interesting you were talking about how, like, when you were growing up, it was medicine for mental health stuff was very, like, we don't talk about that, or we don't even want to go down that route. Where for when I was growing up, I feel like it was my generation, or I would say just grade level, was the start of recognizing, hey, it is okay to be talking to a counselor. It is okay to be on medication. So for me, for example, I've talked about it before, with my ADHD, if I didn't have my medication, I couldn't have gotten through school. I could not get through my job on a daily basis. I could not do the things that I need to do. And as far as making God saying, like, okay, you're going to take medicine, I don't believe that he did it that way. I believe that God's intention was not for us to need those things, like need medication or need, or he didn't intend for us to live in a world of sadness, of bad things, of anything we would need medication for, mental health. But he has given the tools to help us grow and get through that. So I believe if you do need that, and I'm not saying medication is the answer for everything, because for some people it doesn't work, and that's okay. But for some people, like me, absolutely need it to get through the day. I think that was just more, again, kind of the world is a hard place because of sin. It's a sad place, but God is still present in that.
It's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think this is a good one that can go with a lot of what we talked about here. Says, what do I do when I have friends I'm struggling to truly love and to be kind to? So what do you think about that, Manna?
Well, I think first you need to ask yourself, why is it that you're having a hard time being kind to these people? So are they picking on you? Are they bullying you? And in that vein, are they even your friends, if that's the case? I think that there's some sort of root there of why you are struggling to be kind that you need to examine first.
Yes.
Because
whether that's the outside situation or maybe something that you are going through personally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think whenever you're having a hard time, being kind to someone or just loving them well. Sometimes a break is okay. My mom used to say, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. There are times when you need to talk stuff out and that sort of thing, but there are also times to take a break.
Absolutely.
And if this is one of those times because you just cannot be kind to people, you are being kind to them by keeping your mouth shut and staying away. And that sometimes is the best way to hopefully eventually grow back together if that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah. And I think, too, part of that is learning it is okay to set boundaries, even with your closest friends that you might be struggling to be kind to or be struggling to keep a friendship with. That is okay to set boundaries in that and say, hey, maybe I need to take a step back, or maybe we need to take a step back and say, one, you can't treat me like that. Or just, hey, we need to figure something out here. But I think healthy communication, too, is a big part of it.
Right. Which leads into this almost last one of why do I have a hard time trusting people?
Ooh, that's a good one. So like we've talked about already, the world it can sometimes be a mean place. And I'd venture to say that I'll speak for myself, but I would say this is the same for you. We have both had experiences where trust has been broken. So naturally, we are going to want to kind of draw or put up a wall and say, all right, my trust has been broken before. I don't necessarily trust you, whether it's someone who has broken trust multiple times or you're kind of in a situation where you don't trust people because you've maybe been let down so much. So I want to say that is perfectly natural to feel that. You're not alone in that. But part of life, if we want to get through that, is learning, yes, life is hard. We will get hurt. We might have trust broken. We will face those experiences, and that is okay. We have Jesus to get us through that, and we can ultimately trust that Jesus will always be with us. That is where we can put trust that will never fail, that Jesus is always present. Even when we don't realize it, he is still there.
Absolutely. So to sort of finish up, this last question, like all of them have sort of led into the next one. But this one says, would it be okay to come to you in a time of hardship? And by you, I assume you mean student ministry, the church, however you define that. And the answer is an absolute yes.
Absolutely,
now,
yes.
Will we have all of the answers? Probably
No.
not. But we can help you find the answers, and we can guide you to places where you can get the answers. And, in leading with the trust stuff, I think therapy is a huge piece of that.
Yes.
Because they are bound by certain things of, you can trust them with information that will stay in that place within, certain
Absolutely.
boundaries. So I think anytime you are struggling with something, that is what we're here for. That is why we are doing Asking for a Friend, so that you can ask without worrying about anything. But if you need something and you need extra help, or you just have a question, or you just want to know who our favorite celebrity is, you absolutely can come anytime asking for yourself or asking for a friend.
Absolutely. We are here for you.